Hey, how's it going? Welcome. EDGYTIM here with you. And tell you what, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. There is no doubt about it. We are within days of the IHSA State Football Finals down at Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Illinois in Champaign. 2 days, 4 games Friday, 4 games Saturday. I will be there on both days. Um, Saturday, obviously, 5A through 8A. Friday is 1A through 4A. So, again, very busy, very exciting weekend for sure. The weather looks warmer. Yay. I mean, I don't want to complain or anything, but last weekend kind of sucked. I mean, I've had worse, but have I had worse? Yeah, I probably have covered in worse. I don't know if it's ever been that cold. I mean, in all honesty, it felt like covering a game in January, which, unless it's in a dome or in Florida, I have no great desire to do that. But we dealt with it just like the kids and the teams and the coaches, and we move on and get to play the state finals now. So, again, always look forward to Champaign. I really do. I know people are very opinionated when it comes to state final hosting. And again, one thing to remember, and we'll be getting into this very soon, and I'm sure I'm going to hear some rumblings down in Champaign. It's almost 100% likely to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if something gets leaked out of there regarding who's going to host the next round of IHSA state final football games. This is the last year of the contract, so this is it. We'll find out. The last I've heard is we're going to find out after the December board meeting. So again, I've been saying for over 2 years, I think it's Illinois State. No one's said I'm wrong yet, so we'll see. But anyway, very excited about the 7A final. And again, I don't want to pat myself on the back too hard because, well, that's just not how I roll. But I did on playoff pairing night, doing our live thing with Jim Taylor and Seuss at IHSA headquarters when I did my bracket. I came up with Batavia Mount Carmel. And again, doesn't take a genius to do it. But I mentioned then that I think the football gods were going to reward us. I was at the round 2 playoff game where Batavia felt the game was taken away from them, that there were some questionable calls, and there definitely were some questionable calls at the very end of that game. There's no doubt about it. Mount Carmel hung on and won, and eventually Mount Carmel got eliminated in the next round by Brother Rice. Very controversial game, a game that Batavia was very vocal. Head coach Dennis Piron, very vocal about the refereeing. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. Again, Dennis stated how he felt and basically expressed the same sentiment of all the Batavia fans, and totally cool with that. Just don't know. Oh, boy, I don't know if I'm a coach, if I want that karma out in the world, but okay. Great matchup here. As I said, there's been a lot of motivation, I think, certainly from the Batavia side, and I can guarantee you that the Mount Carmel side, not exactly thrilled with Batavia either, the way they kind of responded to that. And so there will be no love lost between these two on Saturday at 4:00 kickoff, which I think makes for an even more intriguing storyline. Now, let's actually get into the off the field nonsense, or whatever you want to call it, and talk about what could actually happen on the field. Mount Carmel's been rolling. They've been arguably the number one team since the beginning of the year. I know I started mine off a little differently, but it ended up that way. And rightfully so. The Caravan have been on fire literally since week 1. A couple close calls. I mean, obviously last week, 20-9 win over Brother Rice over St. Rita. Things got very interesting in that game. Rita had a 6-0 lead at half. It could have been more, quite honestly. I think if Rita goes back and looks at that tape, they're gonna regret a little bit a couple of those red zone stops that they weren't able to put points on the board. But hey, that's water under the bridge now that we're in the state finals. But again, Mount Carmel comes out in the second half. Blaney Dowling starts to find definitely get a better feel on his passes, and finds Denny Furlong, and the offense has clicked. The offense has clicked all year, and I would have concerns if we were going to have the kind of weather that we had this past weekend, but it doesn't look that way, and I think that's a positive for Mount Carmel. Offense has been great. Defense has been just as strong, and maybe hasn't gotten as much pub. But this defense, and for me, the real strength is that linebacking core. That linebacking core for Mount Carmel is about as good as it gets this year. And again, there's a really good linebacking core looking straight across the field from them in Batavia. You start with Tyler Janzi and Jack Sadowski, and those are two really good places to start. But Mount Carmel has really as strong a linebacker core as Batavia, and really anyone in IHSA football this year. So again, Danny Novickis and Parker Stars, and just it's an impressive group. So that it's going to be a high level game. It's going to be extremely fast and physical, a lot of hitting. But I have concerns. So from a Batavia standpoint, and again, you can go through some of this in my title game preview that I put out on Tuesday morning. Basically, again, those are kind of a combination of my earlier scouting reports, but I obviously go ahead and revise those, adjust the starting lineups, and obviously dig into some of the matchups. For me, the big key positional matchup here is simply the Batavia offense against the Mount Carmel defense. I know that, Mount Carmel's offense gives Batavia defense obviously very important as well. But I think for Batavia to win this ball game, they are going to need to get some big plays and some big time chunk plays, if you will, against a very good Mount Carmel defense. I don't know how possible that could be. The biggest, I don't want to say it's an issue. The biggest question I've had all year about Batavia, and I don't know if I'm just off on this, and if I am, then I am, and I'll obviously figure that out Saturday. Who's the go-to guy offensively for Batavia? Who is the must get the ball in his hands guy? Is it Ryan Bowe, the quarterback? I don't know. Ryan's kind of more of a pocket passer. I mean, I know he can run. He's a really good athlete, only a sophomore. Actually, I think he's a junior now. Very, very strong quarterback play. That's not a question, but you don't have that game-changing running back. Yeah, Tyler Janzi's done well, and Ryan Whitewell has done well, but they're not multi-gear, change of direction, speed, game breaker types. Wepley, the wide receiver, has been very good. I know that, that Batavia has gotten some different contributions from guys, but who's the game changer? Who's the guy that breaks things open for this team? Gerke, maybe? I don't know. It's a question I have. I had early on. I saw Batavia in the second week of the season against Lincoln Way East. That game showed me a lot. Showed me that they kind of got out of the gate slow and couldn't get much going on the running game. Lincoln Way East defensively did a nice job against Batavia, and I guarantee you Mount Carmel's going to look at that game very, very closely and try to pick off some things that East was able to do to slow up Batavia. Now, to be fair, second half, I think Batavia found some things that worked and were able to move the ball a bit better and got the offense in gear. And here we are. We're in the state final. So obviously some things have gone very, very well for Batavia. It's just that matchup, I think, is going to really tell the difference in this ball game. So difference makers, individual players. I've already mentioned Blaney Dowling. And again, I know it's like a broken record, but it really, truly is. There's a lot of impact players on Mount Carmel, really impact players on both sides, and you can name multiple guys. But for me, Dowling's transformation from a year ago has been incredible to watch. Plays with a ton of confidence, plays with a ton of energy. He attacks the opposing defense. He really does. Fearless. Makes good throws, makes good decisions, isn't afraid to kind of ramp things up and really kick things into a higher gear. He's got a tremendous connection with his receivers. Denny Furlong in particular just seems to always be Johnny on the spot for that offense. And it's going to be a lot for Batavia to stop. Again, Batavia very good defensively. I've already talked about the linebackers. And it's very simple to me. Your difference maker for Batavia on Saturday has to be Tyler Janze. It has to be. He's playing both ways. He's done a nice job at running back. I think a position that he needed to step up, that Batavia had to find some consistency in that backfield. And Tyler's such a tremendous athlete. He's been able to bring that besides his impact and effectiveness defensively. And I mean, Janze's a poster boy for Batavia football and should be. He deserves to be. The kid works his butt off. Great player, great young man on and off the field. So again, he's no doubt in my mind has to be a difference maker for Batavia on Saturday. My pick, I'm going with Mount Carmel. I've made that very clear. I think Mount Carmel is loaded. I think they find a way to get it done. If I had to pick a final score, I'm going to say maybe somewhere in the range of like 28-14 here. So again, I like the Caravan. I think they get the win. Expecting a great game. Nothing less than that in the state finals. So just my thoughts. I know you'll have your thoughts as well. Feel free to post them on the message board and let me know. And looking forward to a great game, and you're wrapping up a tremendous season. So again, thanks everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving, by the way. I always seem to forget there's this thing on Thursday that I can't do any work because I have to spend with my family. Oh yeah, that Thanksgiving. So always fun to do that. And always great to get down to the state finals and say hi to everybody. And yeah, just enjoy it. Definitely go down, go watch the state finals. The weather's supposed to be a bit better this weekend. So have fun, have a great holiday, and we'll talk to you when we get back from Champaign. Thanks, everybody.